What's up, y'all? LTJ Reads is here. This is Throwing Light, and if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. Before we get started, I remind you, everybody, I am really trying to figure out my social media presence right now and getting this content to you and figuring it out. I think I'm at the point to where I'm gonna have to get me an assistant to help me figure out how to give you all the great things that are going to be coming to you this year. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can do LTJ is here to find it, just like here on Instagram. If you're watching this on Instagram, if you're watching this on YouTube, please go up there, subscribe, hit the notification bells so you can get these interviews. You can know what conversations we're having. All these conversations are forward thinking, of course. If you watch my show, we got the Throwing Light tour that's going around. I just finished the San Francisco panel. So great to go out and hang out in San Francisco. That panel is going to be up pretty quickly. Then we've got two more panels coming up. One for Austin Key Weekend, no titles needed. And then I'll be heading the POC caucus at IML. More of that will be coming out later. And then, of course, we have plenty more Throwing Light tour stops coming for the rest of 2026. I'm hoping by June, y'all, that I've figured out how to form Voltron or Megazord and really bring you everything I've got to give. So y'all just have patience with me as I grow into whoever I'm supposed to grow into, and try to do the best I can to just make the world a little bit brighter and a little bit easier on all of us. With that being said, let's go ahead and kick it over to our guest. We've got Dr. Siren. How are you, Dr. Siren?
Hey, I'm doing good, LTJ. How about you?
It is it's not great to be back out from a vacation and have to go to work, but
Yeah, works tough, works hard, unless you
not
enjoy it.
bad. Everybody needs money, especially now since things are getting so expensive.
Right, since gas is expensive now.
Yes. So Dr. Siren is close enough to me that we can see each other in person. I'm in Austin. He's in San Antonio. I have met him through the San Antonio Leathermen. I've seen Dr. Siren a few times, and I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks when he competes for Mr. Texas Leather.
Coming up in about 21 days, I think. It's
Yeah,
short. No, 18 days. 18 days.
what a wonderful opportunity here for us to talk a little bit about what your platform and stuff will be on for Mr. Texas Leather. Before we get there, I want to know what got you to this point. Where does your journey begin?
Mostly Atlanta, actually. So
Atlanta.
I've been kind of in the community since 10 years ago. When I was living in Augusta, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. That's really where my roots come from. I lived in Georgia for the past 8 years, and then I did a stint for a year out in the Bay Area, and was part of the San Francisco community for a little bit. And then now here I'm in San Antonio, and I've been in San Antonio for about a year and a half now.
Where are you originally from? Where were you born?
So I'm born and raised in Montana. So that's where my heart is. That's where my
Oh,
heart is buried. I'm a Montana boy.
please tell the audience what that is because most of us don't know. We do not know.
Yeah. So if you watch the show
Yeah.
Yellowstone, it looks like that. It's I grew up high up in the mountains on horse property. I grew up riding. My mother was a champion equestrian rider. We always had like about four horses at any given time. We had to feed them in the sun, rain, sleet, snow, any weather. And it was very quiet. It was you learn to love the outdoors, and you definitely live there because you love the outdoors. There's not a huge social community. It's very small. Um, but where I grew up was very picturesque.
Is Helena the largest city?
No, it's the capital, but it's not even the largest city. Our largest city is Billings, which is an agricultural center.
About how many people?
Oh gosh, I know Missoula, where I was born, has a little over 100,000 people, and I think Billings might be about 200,000 people. I know about 10 years, the 1 millionth baby was born in the state of Montana, and we celebrated it. So it's just barely over 1 million people in the entire state. And it's, I think, the second or third largest state in the US.
So, I mean, how does one grow up? And so, okay, where were you from 0 to 17?
In Missoula, in Montana.
Okay, so I don't I don't have very many guests from Montana on here.
Hmm.
Um, And everybody, Brokeback Mountain was in Wyoming. It was not in
It
Montana.
was close by though, not too
Yeah,
far.
but don't. Those are two totally different states. Don't get them
Absolutely.
confused.
We don't claim them.
Um, well, like, okay, so crap, because I've been in a town of 50,000 in Monroe, Louisiana, 100,000 Lafayette. It was small. There's still a little bit of, well, look, there's something in the water down there because everybody got a little sugar in their tank over down in Lafayette, Louisiana, with all them Cajun men.
Hmm.
Um, it's just kind of like, so what was your outlet? Like, what?
I knew that if I wanted to get out of the state, I had to academically perform well. So that was my outlet. I was very good at science from a very early age. So I did crazy things. Like when I was in eighth grade, I got put on like a PBS show down in Panama, in the Panama rainforest for 2 weeks, doing like daily updates from Panama about the ecology down there. And then I traveled to Costa Rica a couple years later to do leatherback sea turtle conservation. When I was, I think, a freshman in high school, my twin and I traveled up to the Arctic Circle for a polar bear biology trip that our parents just let us go on with the Great Bear Foundation. And so we did all of these like real academic science focused things because I knew I wanted to do something in science when I grew up. I was so sheltered growing up, I thought I would be the first gay doctor. And so that was like my goal in life. And then when I graduated high school and moved out to Portland, Oregon, I found out that many other people had beat me to that mission. But I had still wanted to become a doctor. Like I had known that since I was about in eighth grade. So I was really focused on doing well in school so I could get the scholarships and get out
When did you come out?
in high school when I was like 16. It was very anticlimactic. Everyone kind of said, "We know, we knew."
And it was over? Like you never had any struggles with that, or people, messing with you, or
No, I had an identical twin brother, so you got two for the price of one. So I never got bullied or anything for it. Plus, I think my peer group knew I was smarter than them, so they didn't bully me for that reason as well. I was also really well liked.
as of today too, huh?
It's, I'm a Libra. We get along with everyone.
Okay, whatever you say, says a Scorpio.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, okay, so this is very interesting. So okay, you grew up in Montana. It sounds
Hmm.
like you went to Portland for college.
Yeah, went to Portland State. Hmm.
So when you started getting involved,
So I didn't start getting involved with the community until I was in medical school a couple years later. If you wanted to put a time frame on that, probably when I was like 28 and I had lived in Atlanta for a year for one of my med school rotations, made friends with a drag queen and got heavily involved in the drag community if, as part of like the drag court fundraising system that's rampant throughout the US. To the point where I actually ended up founding the Georgia court as part of the international court system. So I was very big in the drag scene first, and that's where I started to cut my teeth. But then I always kind of gravitated towards helping the greater community at large. And then I graduated med school when I was still living in Georgia and got into residency in Georgia, in Augusta, Georgia. And from there, I started working with a transgender health clinic that was put on mostly by med students and then two of us providers. And we did transgender health for 4 years, where it was me and one other attending provider putting on this clinic and servicing this community.
so okay, how has San Antonio been for you?
It's been a dream. I've had a great time here. I got stationed here because I'm in the military. So I've been down here for about a year and a half now and involved with the San Antonio Leathermen. Great social group. We do a lot of things for the community and we're also very socially active, as you know. And I've had a ball. I've made a lot of new friends and got into all sorts of different work. I don't know if you saw, but recently I just got appointed onto the board of San Antonio AIDS Foundation. And so I'm doing more activism work through them now or in conjunction with them now.
Let's talk about that. I can't remember the last San Antonio Leatherman person I've had on here.
think it's been a while.
Maybe Isaac.
Hmm.
Maybe it was
Good
that.
friend of mine. Yes.
Um, okay. For you all that don't know much about the San Antonio Leathermen, they are a rather large leather social group.
We are
Very
the largest social group in the state of Texas in the leather
That's true.
community.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're
There's a
massive.
whole army of us.
Yeah, it's an army. It would be hard. It would be hard for any other city to take y'all on. Y'all ought to think about conquering all the other cities.
Like case in point, last year we went to the Mr. Dallas Eagle contest, and 35 of us came up for it and drove and stayed for the weekend. We outnumbered everyone else in the bar. But we like to use our numbers to help promote stuff like that. Like if you need bodies packed into a room, we will show up with bodies.
That's true. They're an army. They are an army. An army. I'll remember that. Okay. Maybe we need to deploy you guys around the state.
I mean, tell us where to go. We'll show up. We're highly food motivated as well. So,
Today, or this interview, there was a idea that went off in my head, and I'm going to show the world soon. But I think I like this idea of having you all there and having bodies around.
I mean,
Intimidate some people. Y'all can start being like our police. Y'all are our version of ICE.
we can frame this better. Just make t-shirts though.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the San Antonio AIDS Foundation?
Yeah, so they were founded in 1986 and they were San Antonio's answer to the AIDS epidemic that was happening. What they originally started off as was a hospice group. And so they were providing things like financial support, medical support, pharmacological support, as well as housing support to those who were living with HIV and dying of AIDS. Um, at one point, I think they were housing like 100 people in their housing unit who just needed somewhere to go to convalesce or to pass on. They have a cafeteria that feeds 3 meals a day to the San Antonio community. I think I read that they are in charge or they help service about 3,000 people on a regular basis, whether that's getting them the medication they need, the food that they need, or the financial support that they need. And so they're doing a great job with that. Their funding comes from multiple sources, and so it can be impacted by the government depending on where the government is blowing in which direction. But they also do a lot of local fundraising in the community as well. And so I decided to come on board with them because they needed more medical leadership, which is my expertise. And then just as a way to help grow them and keep them continuing to do the great work that they do in the community. Currently, they also do a lot of STI testing. And so they're huge proponents of getting everyone tested, treated, and on PrEP and DoxyPEP if they need it. And they can provide the resources for that as well.
What is medical leadership?
Medical leadership, that's a great way of saying some or a way of directing medical care that is ethical and conscious.
That's economical and conscious.
Ethical and conscious.
Ethical and conscious. Okay. So you can have poor medical leadership. Someone could have
Absolutely.
that.
I mean, look at the United States at large right now. We have poor medical leadership.
Okay. There you guys go. But and so we'll move on. We nailed that. We already I was gonna ask that next, but you already said it. So you
Let me segue that into actually my platform for Mr. Texas Leather is in
go
our
ahead.
community, there is very poor medical leadership. Okay. There's very few leaders, there's very few physician leaders in our community. And so many people don't know things like why it's important to get on PrEP, the importance of using DoxyPEP, the importance of getting regular STI testing to make sure that you're not spreading STIs or that you're not acquiring HIV and passing it on. A lot of those things are highly stigmatized and not talked about. And then again, our community doesn't know how to communicate with their physician to ask those questions on how to protect themselves. And so right now, there is a large need for medical leadership within our community to make sure that we're getting the best medical care possible and that we're also protecting ourselves on a daily basis.
Right on. To be honest, I don't know when our leaders we've had leadership in our community through all kinds of ancestors, like I probably will be mentioning for the umpteenth time on the show. I grew up when the real world first came out in the early 90s, and we got this amazing opportunity to meet a young man named Pedro Zamora, who was 22 years old, living with AIDS on television,
Mm.
teaching us that we need to be educated. The best way to fight this is education, testing, treatment. I absorbed that. I realized that as a young child and took that hope of knowledge, knowing, and taking care of yourself to keep me from discriminating against somebody that might I fall in love with in the future,
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
now being someone that is now living with HIV, who I am undetectable. And
excellent.
back then, knowing there was a time where people were dying, like I grew up as an infant to a small child coming towards the end of the AIDS epidemic. So, you know, I feel like a lot of times the people that want to use their life story to help us be educated on things, especially sexual health,
Hmm.
we don't amplify their voices as loud a lot of the times until they're gone. Um, and when you say poor medical, when we say just in general, like, have we ever been at a place where it was good? To be honest with you, because a lot of gays in our mainstream, gay men, a lot of times, they don't want to see that stuff at the bars. We're putting sometimes, often bars are putting sexual health information. You know,
Hmm.
it's going to take a brave of someone that is in dire need to want to go up and pick up a pamphlet about HIV or it's how we're. I don't know if we figured out a way to give information and sexual education information to our mainstream community in a way that they will digest it and take it seriously.
Yeah.
Everything is so superficial in our mainstream, and that's why it's unique to be in the leather community because we are a little bit. It's a concentrated. We are um, we're a minority among a majority, and we
Hmm.
deal with issues more internally than mainstream gay culture does. It's hard to have these conversations. Um, what do you think good medical leadership would look like in your viewpoint? What are some
So,
things that you see?
so one initiative that I've already undertaken is about 6 months ago. I partnered with one of my friends here, Mistress Anna, and we came up with the hookup box. And so that was a way of putting those clear plastic acrylic boxes back into like the bar scene in places that were accessible to where members of the community were going to. And they were stocked with things like condoms, lube, dental dams for women, or dental dams for anyone needing one, Narcan, and then on the box itself, we had links to like resources, QR codes you could scan, stuff like that. Our Instagram page, which links to local Texas resources that people could utilize. So even if they were in the bar and they were too worried to or too afraid to take some condoms or something, they could at least snap a picture of it and get linked to resources. Now it's been hugely successful. We have to restock it. You mentioned our mutual friend Isaac. He's been helping us restock those, and we restock them on a bi-weekly basis, which means people are using them. The Narcan we had to take out of the boxes and give to the bartenders because they were being misused because people didn't understand how to use Narcan despite our education attempts for it. So that was a big initiative that we took on. We utilized the San Antonio Leathermen. They helped pay for part of it. And then we went out and installed them ourselves. And I think there's 4 up currently right now. We're hoping to get 2 more up. We just need to figure out where to put them. And that's been a hugely successful local initiative that I helped kick off. So that's one example of what I've been doing in the community down here.
Right on. That's amazing, Dr. Siren. Let's pivot a little bit and talk about why you want to be Mr. Texas Leather.
Hmm.
As someone that's competed on that stage before, it's not an easy thing to do. So I want to say, first of all, kudos to you for just wanting to compete, and go on that stage because,
Hmm.
not everybody can do it. So why do you want to do it?
I want to do it because I feel like the community needs more help. We've been talking about medical leadership. We've been talking about public health this whole talk. Um, Running for this title gives me a bigger platform to do that, and it gives me the reach of the entire state, all the way out to El Paso, all the way up to Dallas and Odessa and beyond. It just broadens my platform so that I can help teach these sexual health principles so that people actually understand them and understand the importance of it. That's what drew me most to the title. Um, it's the community needs strong leadership right now, and so this is one way to do it.
Strong leadership, and what is strong leadership to you?
Someone who can get the job done, someone who is actionable, someone who has the resources to be able to accomplish their goals. That's what strong leadership is.
Okay. So, it's been interesting. I guess I've gotten to know what like most of the previous Mr. Texas Leathers. And what's so cool is that everyone's different, everyone's unique. Should you go out there and kill it and knock a home run like I'm sure you will? I mean, you could be joining the Texas Leather Brotherhood, Siblinghood, Familyhood. And I really, really, really say that this is the time to put substantive people in positions.
Hmm.
I really think we need to think a little bit more about the quality of leadership that we want, and having experts in our leather positions, that's a good thing to do. So,
Yes.
I just want to formally say, I think that the things that Dr. Siren are providing or offering to our community are absolutely necessary, especially right now where education is being stripped away and resources and access. So, I'm going to be at IML. I'm sorry, at Austin Peay Weekend. Talking about everyone being equal in our community, even with the title, and learning how to work together.
Hmm.
And I think that it's very vital that we work on spreading information towards each other. Um, so,
Absolutely.
what's something that you think you would do once you get the title?
Yeah, so I had three main goals. One of them was to, again, promote public health and sexual education because that is absolutely needed. My second main goal was to promote it statewide. So I think it's really important to not just travel to the big cities, Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, but actually get involved with the smaller communities because they need more of the help because they lack the resources that the bigger places do. So getting out to El Paso, exploring West Texas, getting down to Corpus Christi and Galveston, stuff like that, so that they can see that I'm invested in their community and that I can bring my expertise to their community. So that's my second goal. My third one was actually to travel to Mexico City. One of my good friends is Daddy Gill, Mr. Texas Handler 2025. And I was blown away by what he did this year with his title reign, with how much activism he did, how much money he fundraised, all the places that he traveled to. That's what's really inspired me to go along with this journey. But he also traveled to Mexico City and discovered that there was a need for a better way to get a hold of PrEP for the people down there. Now they have resources like Gilead down there, but PrEP is incredibly expensive. So almost nobody is on it because they can't afford it. And so he put me in contact with Mr. Mexico Leather 2025, wonderful man named Yoni. And he and I have been partnering and speaking with Gilead to try and figure out how we can get cheaper medication, PrEP medication, down into Mexico City. And so that's one initiative that we've been working on for the past couple of months, the three of us. So that is my goal, is to travel to Mexico City, and see if that has come to fruition or what the other barriers to healthcare down there are. And then my fourth goal is just to have a great time. Work with my charities that I've chosen, like San Antonio AIDS Foundation, raise money where money needs to be raised, but enjoy this year and enjoy being a part of the community at this level.
All right. It is a journey. So, good luck to you. Just
I appreciate it. Thank you.
competition, I think just to go into the competition is a lot of growth. And so, you know, I haven't, I don't think that there's anything that I've seen, heard, done, whatever, in the places that we've been around that, I sense you as someone with positive intentions, good intentions. I don't see you engaging in anything. You don't get involved in the mess. You're able to still um I normally don't like this word, but neutral is not a bad thing when there needs to not be conflict, if that makes sense. If you know
Hmm.
the conflicts are unnecessary, then you just avoid the conflicts, right? Which is fair. But
I mean, I spent years in the drag community, and there was a ton of drama always between conflicting attitudes and personalities. And so I don't have the time and the energy for it. I have bigger fish to fry. So that's how I kind of approach that conflict.
that is so important. Keep that head on your shoulders. You're going to need it. You're going to need
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, so San Antonio. How do you feel that bringing the title to San Antonio? How do you feel about that? What do you want to do specifically in San Antonio with that title, besides the San Antonio AIDS Foundation?
I think that's a great question. My just living here, I don't want to keep the title contained in San Antonio. That is not the goal. So I do, like I said earlier, I do want to be traveling a lot with it. But I do want to show that how our other brotherhood in San Antonio here, how they can run for titles, how they can get involved in the community. Isaac always says his big thing is boots on the ground. Yes, we do show up to a lot of events, but it's also important that our members are doing things, getting their hands dirty, helping to raise the money, etc. And so that's kind of what I want to showcase in San Antonio as well. And then I think just getting out and about and meeting the other social groups here in town and showcasing like we're here, this is what we do, and this is why we're a vital part of the community.
I guess Ash is in here in Austin now, so you would be. I mean, if you count Ash as a San Antonio person, I mean.
Who?
You would be a full term San Antonio title holder if it does get to come to San Antonio. It's
Hmm.
been in what I've seen it in Austin and I've seen it in Houston. So I'm interested to see if San Antonio will be on the be the hot spot. I mean, y'all do a lot, so I'm interested to see what you do at Austin Key Weekend. Everybody that's going watching this,
Yeah,
wish this, this good energy that's on this show. Wish him good luck. Everyone's going to wish you good luck. We're sending you good vibes.
thank you.
And I want you to continue to succeed at helping the world in places that a lot of people don't care about or take the time. And what you're doing
Hmm.
is real important work. So thank you for bringing that kind of work to the leather community. And I definitely want to see you thrive. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, well, that brings us towards the end of the show. Before I let you go, is there anything that you feel like that we are not shedding enough light on in our community?
I think you're doing a great job of shedding the light on our community. I think you're doing a good job of showing where the holes are and what needs to be brought to the light. So, like you always say, if you're not throwing light, you're not doing it right.
Almost, you almost got it.
Ah, damn.
You're gonna do it again. You're gonna close the show. I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna say. I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Um, yeah. I guess what I want to say is that I'm in a good place, and
Hmm.
I'm moving on gut feelings. I've been in this community, and I had my downs, I had my negative thoughts, and all that. But I truly feel okay. I feel like I'm appreciated. I do believe I get recognition. Um, I feel great that I'm able to do something that I believe can help the world. So anytime someone comes on this show as a guest, and has time to recognize the work I'm doing. I'm very appreciative of that.
Good.
I don't plan on stopping, but should we continue to work together in our future, I'm very excited to see the evolution of LTJ, and I'm excited to see these relationships that I'm getting and the new ones and our relationship. Once you become in this, I mean, you already are, but once you take the time to come in and compete on this stage, you're going to grow closer to a lot of us, because people are going to get to see what you really like. So I have nothing again but love and positive energy that I want to send your way. And I hope that doing this interview helps people get to see who you are and why you deserve to be Mr. Texas Leather 2026. So, with that being said, I have one thing for you to do.
Hmm.
I'm going to count to three, and you're going to say, if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
One, two, three.
If you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
There we go. Dr.
Hey, thanks for having
Siren.
me on. This was great. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And
Hmm.
maybe we'll have you on again. With
Yeah.
that being all done and said, y'all, this has been another episode of Throwing Light, and we are heading to the 200th episode. We're on that track now because we've done 150. This is episode 153, I think.
Excellent.
Bye,
Well,
y'all.
thank you guys. You can always follow me on Instagram at siren_slick2 and enjoy.
And
Appreciate
I'll
it.
be tagging that in the post. So follow him there because he has a lot of valuable information on his
Yes.
social media, especially his Instagram. Bye, y'all.